What's up? G350 JP in the house. Okay, so right now I am just driving. I want to do this video about Free Your Hood. Okay, this is to the gangbangers, leaders, and gangbangers yourselves. One thing that you leaders should really take into consideration is that you are bosses, you are in control of staff, you are in control of people's lives, you have the power to dictate many things. So I'm suggesting that you should start dictating positive things to these kids, to the people that you're working with, that's on your team and stuff like that. I believe there's going to come a time where the government is going to get tired of all of the activities that you're doing, and they're going to come and put an end to a lot of these things. And I'm sure that's something in preparation right now. But before that happens, you do have a chance to change a lot of stuff and change your neighborhoods. I think it was El Salvador or something, the gang leaders who are in jail, they started to change and make their country more positive and things like that, because the tourism in those countries is down because of the violence, so they can't make money. People can't create jobs and can't work and things like that. So they're changing their image, and this is what I've read, I think last year. And I think that you also should do the same thing. Now, a lot of people probably have come to you and saying they're offering you jobs and things like that, and saying a lot of advice and things like that. But I have something else to offer, or to not offer, but to suggest that will work. First of all, you have to understand that there's a difference between doing what your heart says and doing what your mind says. We're taught to do what our heart says, but that's not good, because those who are telling us these things and stuff, they understand anatomy. Okay, if you don't understand anatomy, you won't get what I'm going to say. So maybe you should study it and stuff like that, or maybe you do understand it, but maybe you haven't looked at it in the way I'm about to say it. Basically, what happens is that people come upon a situation, and it doesn't matter, okay, and then they see the situation and they take they take guesses about the situation. Now, I'm not talking about real life threatening things like that. Of course you understand that, but I mean things that's not threatening, that you do not understand. And so they'll take these life-threatening, non-life-threatening situations, and then they'll create some image, maybe like they want to rob something or rob somebody or anything like that. Just do some crime that's really is unnecessary, and you'll create it in your mind. You'll create the whole schematic, everything. And then what you do, or what most people do, is they'll release their adrenaline. Like, yeah, I can do this, and they start pumping their adrenaline through their bodies. And what a lot of people don't really realize is that adrenaline is something that you can initiate or squeeze out or cause to flow yourself. You don't have to be scared or anything like that, where it's automatically done, or like listening to bass when it hits your body, it squeezes those organs which secrete those hormones and stuff. But you can do it yourself. And so when you do that, it's called I'm getting pumped up. Pump yourself up. And basically you're just releasing all of this adrenaline through your body. And when adrenaline flows through your body, it only has one purpose, and that's to create extra strength in your body, so your body can do whatever it was programmed, or whatever you thought it or wanted it to do. And it's going to do that. And the adrenaline it's going to flow. Your body's going to move. Something is going to move. You know, something is going to move. It doesn't matter what, but something's going to move, and until it burns out. But when it's going through your body, it's causing a lot of stress, and this stress is very painful. So there's this other hormone that's called endorphins, and endorphins is just like morphines, but except for it's just produced in your body, and what it does, it numbs your body, or it's a painkiller basically. And why would you need a painkiller? You know, then you have to stop and think, well, why do you need a painkiller to go through your body when adrenaline goes through your body? Well, that's because of the stress and the pain and everything that's causing that adrenaline caused to your body. Those are the things that those cause you pain. And so that's what the endorphin does, is it comes and it takes the pain away. And painkillers, what do? It gets you high, you know, drunk or whatever. Not drunk, but, you know, it makes you feel good basically. And then a lot of people, you know, they get used to it, and that's how they just get hooked on it. And it's not so much that I think that they get hooked on the drug itself, but the feeling, you know, that they just keep trying to get more and more of this feeling that they're, you know, pretty much triggering in their bodies themselves and stuff. So then you go and someone, you know, whatever, you know, people go through the act. Then when they finish, they realize that it wasn't the right thing to do, or they can't stop, and they finish, like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, I must have been crazy, and stuff like that. And then you get in trouble. Okay, well, what it is that you need to tell your people and everything that you need to control this, you know, and really study this, and, you know, study a little anatomy. Just read. If you don't understand, get a dictionary. But I suggest you if you can't get a dictionary, I mean, if you get a dictionary, sometimes the meanings, they have words and the meanings that's difficult also. So try a thesaurus, okay? An unabridged thesaurus is very good for definitions. For medical terms and things like that, then you'll just have to, you know, they might have them in there sometimes you don't. It's just depending on, you know, the kind of medical book, or they might even have medical thesauruses or whatever. You know, I'm not sure that you find or that you purchase or whatever. So basically what it is these people, these doctors, they know this. So they're putting this stuff out there so that people can just continuously act crazy and do things that they shouldn't have to do, or that they can control and not do. And they're always saying, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. But when you listen to your heart, all you're doing is just getting in trouble. What you should do is listen to your mind, you know, be intellectual about it, because your mind has only one purpose, and that's to absorb and gain information. Okay, translate that information and build. Your mind doesn't tell you to do anything wrong. Everything your mind tells you to do is right, even if it's in defensive, to save your body. But what it is a lot of people think that when they're thinking that it's their mind, and then there's this other voice that they hear that they think is coming from God or whatever, I don't know. But that other voice, you know, is just your mind telling you study, do this, and it's not telling you to do anything wrong. Now, you might have this other mind in it that might tell you to do things wrong, but that's just you thinking and talking to yourself pretty much, and that's it. So you have to understand the difference between the effects of your mind on you and the effects of your images that you have, which you fuel with your adrenaline. Your mind only tells you to do things to help yourself and just collect information to understand, you know, to understand this earth and things like that. So how to change your neighborhoods and get people in line is you need to start reading. You need to start, basically I would jump on the math first, because it's something that a lot of people say that they don't understand. But math, there are only two operations. You're putting something together and you're taking it apart, and that's it. Putting things together is addition. Taking them apart is subtraction. When you multiply, all you're doing is just adding one number a certain type of certain times, some number of times. And when you divide, when you do division, you're just subtracting the smaller number or some number from another number so many times, and that's it. So division is just nothing more than subtracting the same number, and multiplication is just adding the same number, and that's it. Everything else about math that's really difficult is the vocabulary, and if you don't understand the vocabulary, then you won't understand math, because I believe math is somewhere between 80% to 90% of the math itself is the vocabulary. Then you have to practice, and then once you practice and keep practicing, because like people say study, 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 but a lot of people don't understand what studying is. But if you say practice, so when you're doing math, all you're doing is practicing, and that's it. You're practicing putting things together. You're practicing putting things, taking things apart. When you have these, it's like multiplication. People say they don't understand multiplication, but it's simple how they came up with multiplication. You have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, and then somebody just happened to look at the equation and say, "Wow, I see 4 written 5 times. 4 written 5 times." So I guess you just put the times in the middle, to keep, the 4 and the 5 from being together. I don't know, I'm just, saying this anyway. And it's 4 times 5, which is going to be 20. And then they probably checked it out and checked it out. Wow, okay. So instead of writing 5 times 20 was 5, 5, they want to add 25s together instead of, writing it, because it's a lot of paper and stuff. You have a lot of writing to do. Just abbreviate it. And so what math becomes is just a whole bunch of abbreviations, and you have to understand what it is. So that's like saying a car. You have a Mercedes-Benz. Okay, what's a Mercedes-Benz? Well, first of all, Mercedes-Benz is just the name of, I believe, 2 people who got together or something like that. I really don't know the history, but it's a name. But then you're talking about it's a car. Okay, but then what kind of car? The tires, the steel, the metal, the windows, all of that stuff composed of that vehicle. But when you talk about the vehicle, that whole object, you can either name it by the components that it's made of, which is going to take forever, or you just say it's a car, or a Mercedes, or a Benz, or whatever. But that's what math is too. It's the same thing. So you have to, one thing about, you have to understand the vocabulary. You have to understand those abbreviations, because they have a purpose. They're not just there just to be there. But what a lot of people don't really understand about math is that math is nothing more than what you see around you written on paper, and that's it. When you see trees, it's like fractals. They talk about white man made computers and all that stuff, but if it wasn't for fractals, which was created in Africa, black men, they wouldn't have been able to do that. I'll try to put the link to it in the description. If I forget, then send me message me, or comments, and let me know. But it's all about fractals. It's all about the same shapes, and that's it. So basically, when you're doing math, you're talking pretty much about what are those things called? Ovals, because a circle is just a special oval, and rectangles, and the square is just a special rectangle, and lines and triangles, and that's it. That's all math is. So when you're doing math, basically you're just pretty much trying to figure out a shape, or the shape of an object, or how long it is, or what how much you can put how much room or space there is on the inside to put some in, or stuff like that. So it's basic. It really is basic. It really is. And then when it's applied to sciences and stuff like that, like heat and metal and things like that, it just gets and just becomes the name and stuff like that, and it's how much it weighs and things like that. And once you understand those things, then you're able to put things together, take things apart, build whatever you want to call it. One of you might even just happen to build some type of a anti-nuclear weapon, where as soon as a nuclear weapon is coming, you just pop it in the air, you know, it'll I don't know, some little pill, you just pop it in the air, it dissolves in the air, and it'll last for 48 hours, and if a atomic bomb comes and blow it up, it'll just get rid of it, like, you know, what is that thing called, like deodorant does stink, you know. So, and things like that, you know, they're possible to make. Now, what a lot of people are saying, well, okay, it's easy to say study math and stuff like that, but, you know, you're in the age of computers, iPhones, smartphones. So the best thing you can do, especially if you tell your guys, say this, you know what, you guys are going to start going to school, okay, and we're going to do this, and this is how we're going to do it. You know, a lot of people, I don't like math, I can't do this, I don't like science, I don't like this. Well, what you do is you get, because there are a lot of game bangers who are smart, you know, they just never really tried to do anything, or they did and they just got bored of the school systems, because the school system, the way they teach us, is kind of slow. It's too slow for black people, and that's for sure. You know, for me, it's really slow. Now I'll give you an idea about how slow it is. I'm teaching, I'm an English teacher, and I taught some kids, it was like, I think Friday, and the last 5 minutes I say, okay, let's learn how to do multiplication, and they were 5 and a 3-year-old. So of course they can't do it, but you know, I know a really easy way to do it. So I did it, and basically the way I did it was so easy. I think I put it on my but what it is, you write 3 times 4, like for instance 2 times 3. Well, all 2 times 3 is just adding 2 3 times, and that's it. But a lot of people, they really don't understand this. When you're talking about these numbers, there's always some kind of unit applied to it. So that's what I'm saying. When you do mathematics, it's a shape. You know, it's what you see. It has to be some kind of object until they start getting into, you know, those imaginary objects and things like that. But it's an object. So basically, I just put 2 times 3 equals 2. Then below the 3, I do 3 lines, and then below the lines, at the end of the lines, I wrote 2. Then in the middle, plus 2 equal, and then I asked the kids, did they know? And they said no. I said, okay, well, I got 2. So what do you think I should do? And they didn't know. So I said, okay, I'm going to write 2 circles. So I went, roll 1, 2. And I said, okay, what do you think I should do next? And they didn't catch on. So I said, okay, 1, 2. And then the last one, one of the 5-year-old kids said, oh, write 2 circles. I said, okay. So as soon as I wrote the 2 circles, there were 6 circles there, and they all said 6. Because your mind, like I said, is always gathering information. It's always gathering information, and that's what your mind does. And it's a beautiful thing, and if you don't get distracted, which that's what they're doing, then all you're going to do is learn more, develop, grow, and probably end up leaving this planet. You know, y'all man want this planet? Fine, we can go somewhere else. You know, we're gone. You know, anyone who want to stay, they can stay or come back, whatever. It's up to them. But they said 6, just like that, you know. And so I was like, wow. So it's okay. The answer is 6, and I wrote it 666. I mean 666. I wrote the 6 next to the circle, then next to the 2 plus 2, and then the 3 times 5. I mean the 2 times 3. And then after that, I did 3 times 4. So what I did was I wrote the 4 lines under the 4. I put the 3 plus 3 plus 3. And one of the kids just started counting circles. You know, and I know he doesn't know how to add because he's only 5 years old, and I'm sure his mother does not teach him mathematics. And so he started adding them up, and so I was thinking like, okay, well, let me do it my way, you know. And so as I started circling as I started writing the circles, because the other kids said write, you know, 3 circles, he said 6. I said, no, it's not 6. But when he said 6, I was like on the 5th circle under the 2nd circle under the 3rd, under the 2nd 3. And then when I wrote the 3rd circle, he said 12. I was like, what? He said 12. I was like, oh my God, this kid counted that real fast, all in his head, bam, 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 bam. And then he wrote up the top 3 times 4 is 12. So what I'm saying is, you can learn it. And basically what it is you need someone to, if you need someone to hold your hand, then it's okay. Because all of us need someone to hold our hands. There's this parable, this proverb, you know, if you, I said in my first video, I don't know if you're watching this, watch this, I'll say it again. Anyway, I had a discussion with a friend, and we were talking about it. and he was saying something like that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. And first of all, that parable is stupid, because it talks about not trying, telling somebody to do something if they can't do it, or they don't do it because you're saying it, then just leave them alone because they're not going to do it and you can't force them. But the whole thing is like if it was your child and you say, hey, do your homework, and your child says, I don't want to do it. And you say, okay, fine, don't do it. And you walk away. No, you don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sit down and ask questions. Hey, can you do this? Do you understand? The kid might not understand, might not know how to proceed, and especially if you keep using the word study, use a word that they understand, because a lot of kids don't know what studying means, but they do know practice adding, practice subtracting, practice reading, practice writing. So basically when you study, I don't know why, it should be better to use the word practice, because it's more understandable, comprehensible and stuff like that. So that kid did that, and I was really surprised. My friend, he told me that, and I told him, basically what that parable does is it gets people into talking about things that's unnecessary. So you'll argue, well, you can make people do it. Well, no, you can't. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, and and they get to fighting and stuff over nothing. It's absolutely nothing. So I told him, just sometimes you gotta hold hands. And what was funny was because he's a brother from Chicago, real cool brother, and I was always telling him to go to this certain location so he can conduct some business and stuff like that, but he didn't want to. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you go? Just go. You don't need me. I want to go at you and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, fine. So then I went, and then basically we had a conversation, and he told me his stories and stuff. And then it was funny because one of his stories was kind of like our situation there. And I said, sometimes you really need to hold someone's hand so that you can help them, because a lot of people, they don't know. They really just don't know. And just because they're older or whatever, you thinking they know, but the image that you have of the situation or the problem is not the same image they have. So you have to teach them. And he was like, well, still blah, blah, blah. He's saying different things. And I said, well, it's no different than me telling you to come to this location and you didn't. And I had to get on a train, come all the way up here for an hour, wait for you 30 minutes just to come over here and sit down and tell you that I did something that you're saying that you didn't want to do, or you didn't do, or whatever, whatever excuse you're trying to tell me that you're using to not help when you're in a position to help. And then when I said that, he kind of laughed, and it was kind of embarrassing but it was true. The whole thing was that it was true, and I gotta take a break. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, when we spoke about that, he understood what I was saying. So to apply this to you and your people that you're hanging out with, education, they call it education, basically, the last time I looked it up in a dictionary many years, over like 20 years ago, education means to bring out that's within you. Okay, so your mind is constantly just looking at things, everything. Basically what I say is, you are very special, very, very special. You are the ultimate form of nature in an individual entity. Okay, and you're self-moving, self-producing, everything. Everything that you do, everything that you're made of is from the earth. So when you're studying the earth, basically you're just studying about yourself. That's it. The pressures, everything, your bodies, the foods you eat, when you study anatomy and biology and sciences and stuff, that's you, because everything out there that you're studying is part of you until you're able to go out into space or study more about the mind and go deep into the ocean and things like that and study other animals, because those are all part of nature too. But we are the ultimate form on this earth as it is now, the human being, and that's who you are. So you make these podcasts, you start from 0. 0 plus 0 equals to 0. 0 plus 1 equals to 1. You do that, you go all the way up to 12s, or however you want to do it. It doesn't matter if you got small kids when you're in your house. Instead of playing rap music, that's not productive, you just play those addition. Do the same thing for subtraction. You can do start from 50. You can even start from 100 and go back. It doesn't matter. You keep playing those. When you're driving in your car and your kids are there, you're there. You keep playing them. You do the multiplication, you do division, you can do fractions, algebra, trigonometry, all of that stuff. And while you're in your car, just play it. And everyone in the cars, they will get angry. I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to hear this. But you keep playing it, and eventually people are going to start soaking that stuff in. They're going to start saying it. Somebody might even start making raps about it and things like that. When you're studying like the periodical chart, this is a good thing to do. You make you read it, just say hydrogen number 1, blah blah blah, way blah 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 blah, and discovered by such and such. Bam, stop it. That's 1. Then you do the other one and just read it, and then you do the other one. And if you get tired of doing it by yourself, you can get a bunch of people together, and you guys can, just one person read one. You put it together, and bam, you can sell it. You play it. You talk this stuff. Because this is very important. This stuff is very, very important. When you come to doing history, you got your history books and stuff. You and some friends get together, and if you got to, all the chapters that you're going to read, they give you a syllabus. Then you get together, you and the whole class, and you take turns reading it. And you record it in video. Record the readings. Make sure you read clear, and then make copies. And everybody, when you're driving around, you just listen to the chapters that you need to read, and you listen until pretty much you're going to start talking and saying it, and you're going to be able to say it verbatim. And if the words that you don't know, don't ever skip a word. Don't ever skip a word. Use a dictionary. A dictionary is sometimes very difficult to understand. So they have a book that's called a book of synonyms, and it's called a thesaurus. Thesaurus. A thesaurus is a book of synonyms, and you'll have a word that you might not know. Okay, like I can't even think of anything. Exclusive. Okay, let's say if you don't know the word exclusive, you might look in a dictionary, and it'll give you this meaning that might have some other word in it that you don't know. So you get it an unabridged thesaurus, and you look it up, and the further down you read, you're going to get to the pretty much the slang that we use. It's going to say to privacy, only those in an in group, or something like that, and you're like, oh man, that's what it means. Okay, bam, and then you'll be able to understand it. Let me stop here and let me tell you something that a lot of people probably don't. They know, but probably a lot of people just don't say. The only difference between white kids, rich white kids, or white kids, that are in these upper middle to wealthy families, and you, or in your children's educational level, it's just the vocabulary. White people, when their parents were young, they were not educated. America has just started this education stuff. It was a time where no one was being educated, and they started educating people pretty much, as they can turn them into robots, and just to say it in a nice, sure way. But education wasn't, what we think it always was, what we think it is, and it wasn't always like that in the United States. So the difference between educated whites and uneducated black children, like I said, are the parents. Those parents were uneducated. They worked hard doing all kinds of jobs to put their children through universities. those children went to universities and they had to learn these languages. The parents were on them, beat them, whatever, to make them study. They had to remember these words. Then when they got into their jobs, they had to remember more words. And so with these parents, thank God they were nice. They said, wow, I had a hell of a time learning this shit. I ain't no way my son in these times and they're going to learn this stuff. So I'm going to help them. So they go home and they use their professional, skilled, technical, whatever words that they use in their professions at work. They use those same words at home. And they just use them like they're just a regular word, and these kids pick up the words, they pick up the vocabulary, pick up the definition, because the parents might say exclusive, only VIP or private, only in the in-group, and the kids are, make the connection. And they used to do that on the news back in the days. When I was coming up, they'll say a word like gullible, they'll say, oh, people are gullible. Or they'll say it just like this, Robert, this one guy, he really noticed how gullible these people are, or how they're easily fooled, and they would give a definition and also give a synonym of what that word was back in the days. And but because of my vocabulary was on, I would always think, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Why do they keep saying the word twice? And the only reason, and that was it, because the white people, they would go home and they would say these words in their homes. But black professional parents would go home and call their kids, you black this, you're a dummy, and nigga this and nigga that, and blah 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 blah, and they do not use their words at home. So these white kids, when they go to college, they got a head start, because when the teacher give them a vocabulary list, because the teacher, they don't speak well, back in those days, they're not supposed to speak that ghetto slang or the street slang. They're supposed to speak the mutual level, the college level words, which, taking another break here, college, the words that they use in college are words that pretty much they had to develop a new language, because you can't take kids from the South and the kids from the North and then start talking in the South and expect, using the vocabulary in the South and expect kids in the North to know it, or the kids in the North, to using their vocabulary and their slang and expect the kids from the South. So what they did was they developed a whole new language, and using Latin or whatever it is, French words, whatever, and they had everyone else learn a new language, because it's easier to teach everyone one new language instead of teaching one person everyone else's language. So when you're going to school and you have to learn these big words or whatever it is, you're only doing it so you're able to communicate with different people who learn English around the world at the same level, so you'll be able to understand each other. So you'll be able to say, hey, you know what, black people are not bad. That's just CNN or whoever it is, saying that mass media is saying those things on TV. We're not bad, okay? So, and I'm letting you know, but you're using it in terms and using these words that they can understand, because when people learn English, they don't learn the slang, they don't learn the street language, they learn the language of the college language words, so that they are able to speak to anyone who has learned that new language, and that's all you're doing. So getting back to what I was saying is that you get your people together. You have a lot of brothers that understand algebra, trig, calculus. There are some smart brothers in those hoods. Your members of your gangs and stuff, they're not stupid. Okay, no one is stupid. It's just that we've been trained to think we're stupid. So do math. The first thing you do, well, I'm gonna tell you this: it is easier to sit down. It is less stressful on your body to sit down, open a book, and begin practicing mathematics, or practicing to memorizing different words, than it is to stop and not do it, because your mind tells you to do it and you start to do it. You're very obedient to your mind, and you start to do it. But then all of a sudden you get this other thing that we've been programmed through television and stuff, that, oh, you can't do that, it's not cool. And so then you have to stop. You have to force yourself to stop. Then you have to think of whatever this excuse is. Okay, instead of me going and doing this homework, which is only going to take 30 minutes, I'm going to go talk to this girl. You know, I'm going to go call this girl. I'm going to hang out with my homies. You know, and then you have to create some image of what you think you guys might do. Yeah, I remember, you know, we can go down and we can go do this. And then you create this image. Then you got to release your adrenaline, and it's going to pump you up. And then your endorphin is going to flow, and you're going to feel good. And you're going to, yeah, I feel good. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'd rather do this than do this studying. And then at that point, you're still obedient because you haven't moved. So then you say, well, what can I do? Then you have to think of something to get rid of the book out of your, get the vision of the book out of your face and out of your mind, and turn your studying into some type of an enemy or a monster or some poison. And then you'll think in your mind, okay, I'm gonna grab this book and I'm gonna toss it against the wall, and page is gonna flip up and whatever, and it's gonna hit the floor. And you ain't even doing it. You thinking about this stuff first. Then you pump yourself up so you can release the adrenaline and endorphins, so you can feel good. And you grab the book and you do exactly what you plan to do. Bam. And then you gotta force yourself to get up. You still gotta force yourself to get out, because your mind is saying study, 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 practice, 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 and you can't break away from it. And then you're forcing yourself to do all this other stuff, and eventually one day after you're pregnant, I mean not you're pregnant, but your girl is pregnant, she's no good, you know, and she's nagging because you're not, you know, making any money. Sorry about that. So anyway, what I'm saying is basically is that it is easier to listen to what your mind says when it's telling you to do things that's good. Just listen to it. And it's easier to just go ahead and go through the process of doing that, because when you start to studying, or practice I should say, when you start to understand and comprehend what's going on, understand or comprehend, same thing, then you'll start to enjoy it, because your body is going to start receiving it, you know, whether it's some type of vibrations or whatever, you're going to start receiving it, you're going to get happy, you're going to become happy, and then you're going to want more and more and more. And then as you start to look around and you start to see how things are made up and things are broken down, then you will start to create, and then you'll understand, you know, oh, okay, wow, now I understand how they made this car. Oh, okay, now I understand how they did this, you know, built this house. Or now I understand how they make steel and what steel is made of, and the components and whatever, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, I gotta put my charger thing in. But as you start to understand and comprehend, well, understand and comprehend, same thing. As you start to comprehend things, then it'll be like what's going to happen is you're going to start to enjoy this stuff. You know, you're really going to start enjoying it and making a whole lots of progress based on what you've learned. Okay, I'm trying to get this in the focus. Okay, there it is. I guess it's focused. And you're going to start making a lot of progress concerning the things that you've learned. So basically, it's good to do those things. Now, like I said, you study, you get your people to start studying, okay? Because what you're doing or what you're not doing is you're not, like you're in whatever city you're in, that land is very precious, it's very valuable. What you're not doing to contribute to yourselves, to your neighbors, to the country, to the world, to other people out there who look up to you. And trust me, I live in Japan, and they're, you know, Japanese women are running around here trying to be black. Well, they are black. A lot of them, they know they're black and stuff. They can look at themselves, and a lot of them know their history and stuff like that. But the ones who don't, they like, I wish I was black. You know, I want to be a black woman. I want to be a black man, and things like that. If you guys don't know, that a lot of Japanese, a lot of Asian people, because Oh, I can't say that. But anyway, all Asian people are not white or whatever color they are all over their bodies. They got dark parts in their bodies too. I mean, some prominent parts that are just straight black. So so be aware of that, you know. And a lot of people know. And plus, they did a DNA. Finally, they said out here on TV or something, or maybe it was in the video or something I saw, where China finally did a DNA on themselves and had to confirm, fine, yes, we are Africans. We were black once, you know. Now that's over. Okay, let's look for peace, you know. So they already know it. Well, at least the doctors, I don't know, you know, people, individuals, they have their own thoughts and stuff about that. But the whole thing about what I'm saying is, you study, and as you study, you're going to start developing. When you start to develop, the development is going to be a natural thing. It's just going to come natural. And as you start to develop, you're going to start getting in trade, you know, and then that's when the money's going to start coming in, you know. And basically the problem in the black neighborhoods is not so much the violence, which the violence is a problem, but the biggest problem is that you are not creating any economical opportunity, not opportunities, but results in your neighborhoods. Now, you might call it economical if you're out, you know, selling, well, now you can legally sell drugs in some countries. I mean, weed, marijuana, and stuff like that. But if you're not really, if you're doing things that's illegal and stuff like that, you might get money, but you can't go out and purchase land, or you can't send a lot of people to college with it without the FBI, you know, where you're getting this money at. You know, I don't see any skyscrapers, you know, in the hood. You know, I don't see any banks in the hood. You know, I don't see any lawyer offices in the hood. Where is the hospital at? You know, all I see are police departments and liquor stores and churches, and I know for a fact they're not paying you anything. You know, so where you getting this money from? You know, so basically that's what it is. You know, you're not producing any type of economical products or gains and things like that. So, but you can do it. A lot of people think they can't do it, but you can. Stop defeating yourself. Okay, if you don't know, fine. You know, do what I said, just start from zero and do that. Math, I'll tell you something, I like math, I love math. I'm always talking about math with my friends, and they always getting on my case, they always getting angry and stuff. But math is easy. Math is based off the number 1, because anything you do with the number 1, all you have to do is multiply it. And multiply means copy it and then add them together a whole bunch of times. So like if you're doing 1, like if you want to do division with your children, start with 100. 100 is just 1.00 100, and then you tell them to divide it. You know, divide it to start with 1 times 1 is 100. You know, you use the lines and stuff, the lines, and then you circle the 1 because it can't be broken down. That's called a prime. Okay, then you do 2 times 50. 2 is not a prime. It's not a prime. It says some other number, but I forgot what it was. And then 2 into 50, but 2 can't go any further, and so then fine, you circle it right there. You know, and all the circle numbers, once you find them in any other numbers, you know, that's it. You know, you should write prime numbers on the top, whatever, and you do that, and you can do it with your children. You know, 1. You know, what I'm saying is, you can record this stuff. 0. I mean, like 100 is 1 times 100. The 1 is a prime number. Then you say over to the since it's prime, you can't do nothing. Go over to the 100. Say, okay, 2 times 50. You know, and then the 2 is not a prime number, but it's some other number. I forgot what it was. And then you have 50, and then you can further divide 50. You know, and so you go 2 into 50 is 25, and then the 2 is just there. Then 25 is just 5 times 5. Okay, but then the 50, then the 100, you can break it down again using the 4s. Then you can break it down with the 5s. And then you can break it down again with the 10. Then you can break it down with the 20. You can break it down with the 25. And then you get to the 50 again. Okay? But then you do the 50. You already did that. And you just keep breaking down. You do it with the hundreds. And then you do it with 99. Then you do it with 98. And you do it with 97. I'm telling you, if you do this stuff, and you write it down, put it on the CDs and publish it, put it up on iTunes and sell it. A lot of people are going to do this. Now, recently a friend sent me a video. I haven't watched it yet, and it said that China went down to like the poorer areas, took over the education. You got black kids down in the South speaking fluent Chinese, and I'm gonna try to put that in there also. So, and they're teaching them communism and stuff like that, and they said they had a report on that. So basically what it is there are not enough resources in the United States to really go around and maybe do all of this stuff, because you send white people this, white people that. But the people who are actually in the control, there are only a few in numbers, and there are a whole bunch of people in the United States who are who are not so bright as we would like to think they are. Okay, so please, if you don't understand, just use your iPhone right there. If you don't want to read and do this stuff, then you can find kids, the parents, hire some parent to read a book for you. Give them, say, all right, I want you to read this book. I want you to read it nice and clear, and blah blah blah, and give them $20, or whatever They don't want it for $20. You find somebody's going to do it for $20, $10, whatever, and it's a way to generate money, and you can take those and basically what it is, you can't really read somebody's book and then sell it, because of the copyright laws and stuff like that. But you can go to those companies and say, hey, make deals with them. Let me read this book, make an audio book of this book. I want to, so I can sell it, you get proceeds, whatever, and they can make these deals, I mean, I'm telling you, there are a lot, and a lot of people would love to, who don't get to meet black people, would love to hear your voices reading different books and things like that. I'm telling you, black people, you are not, in America, you are not hated. Now, they got people in places where they do hate you and stuff like that, like I hear, I ain't gonna say it on this, but but anyway, this education thing is good. Now, the whole purpose is to create economics, create money, create a booming economy like Tulsa was. Back today, Black Wall Street was making way more money than the white Wall Street that was in New York. And then it got burnt down and stuff. And a lot of people, I might catch some problems with this. But I read, what happened, and basically it was just some drunk black teenagers that went, and police said leave him alone, he can handle it, and they went over there and tried to, insert their will, and they were drunk, inebriated, that means drunk and stuff like that, and they went over there, and white guy, armed, and the white people looking like, what are they doing with them guns? One guy, give me the gun, and the brother said no, and they scuffled, the gun went off, and white people said, oh no, the black people, they shooting at us, and bam, what do you expect them to do? I mean, it's no different than, what's going on in the neighborhoods with the gangbanging and stuff like that too, right? And they destroyed Black Wall Street, and gangbangers destroying the neighborhoods and stuff, and that's what's going on. But what I'm saying is, if you start doing this, you can start building up your cities again, and your communities and things, and then you can move from a gang leader to a CEO or corporate owner, and those gang members that you have can be your staff, and then the people around, you can educate them, they can buy your products and stuff, and you can become wealthy, go overseas, conduct business and things like that. Don't think that people got this image. They might have an image of you, but when they see a black man in a suit, and it depends on what country they are in, because I hear in Middle East, blacks aren't really treated so well, but, that's based on what people tell me. But then I have people who went over there and they're treated well. But I guess if you are in Aboriginal, if you're native of the country, they might not treat you, and then the invaders might not treat the native people any good, but you know, you coming from America and going there, you might get treated better. Just like here in America, but like in America, blacks are getting treated bad, but they can go to Africa, you know, and get treated like kings and queens and whatever, but the people there are getting treated like crap, you know. So it works like that. But you can go over there with the knowledge, with your business, and do trades and stuff like that, educate people and things like that. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to start developing more and get bigger and get bigger and get bigger. And so that's just my whole point of this thing, is you start practicing this stuff. If you don't know how, ask someone to help you. It's okay to ask someone to help you, because ignorance, it only lasts from until the time somebody showed you, and then once somebody shows you, it's gone, you know, and that's it. And I don't know how this video is going to be welcome, you know, I really don't care, but I will say that I've started some videos, you know, my Do You Love Black Men videos, and they were to get brothers to study. And a lot of brothers, you know, they just got this motivation, see these beautiful Japanese women, like, oh my God, she loves me, you know, I can go see them, all I gotta do is get a degree and I can go to Japan. I'm doing it. And brothers, you know, a lot of brothers send me a lot of messages, and thank you. They straightened up at school. I went to school and it was easy. I got my bachelor's degree, you know, I'm about to graduate my master's, you know, my PhD, and blah 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 blah. You know, I'm coming to Japan to see you. And a lot of brothers have actually come over to Japan, and I've met them. You know, other brothers, one brother from New York, he got his degree and said, I'm coming to teach English. Then he got some six-figure job, and he said, I'm sorry I can't come because, you know, I promised you I was going to come, but I got this six-figure job, and I decided to take the job over the teaching. I'm sorry. And I was like, shoot, of course you better take that job, take that money. You know, you can teach here later, or you can come to visit Japan if you actually want to see it. Come and visit, you know. And I've had a lot of brothers come over here. I've talked to a lot of brothers and stuff. So, and that's just, you know, just doing that. And the purpose of my Do You Love Black Men video is not about sex. It's just this. Listen, get your education, come and visit, because you will be accepted. You know, you'll get accepted in other countries. And unless you go to some country where, you know, you know, you got some bad people in every country, and a lot of times they are rogue and they run around and uncontrolled and stuff, and they'll see you, they might say something, just ignore them, you know. But for the most part, when they see a black man, especially when you say you're from America, you educated, you dress well, you're very articulate, they pretty much, especially if they got money too, they pretty much open up. And I'm not saying the white ones, but a lot of white ones do, because you can't, because all white people aren't bad. But you will find a lot of people who will open up and tell you their whole life story, tell you how they got rich and everything. And all you got to do is remember that stuff, write that stuff down, all kinds of stuff. Because I've been told all kinds of things from white people, and from, I think it was that Sweden? I think it's Sweden, Denmark, I think, where they make the Volvo cars. I think it's Denmark or Sweden, one of those places. And guy from India, when I was in Thailand, you know, one guy, his sister, very beautiful, she sold diamonds, you know, and he was trying to marry me off to her, you know. And a lot of people say, oh, because you want to come to America, and she got diamonds, she got money, she don't need me to get to America, you know. And I'm saying, I was a black person, you know, she can go find a white guy, or you know, just pay the money to go over there, you know, she had money and stuff. But what I'm saying is, you will be accepted when you come to other countries. But the whole thing is you have to understand that you are not dumb. They're tricking you into thinking you're dumb, you know, and you're psyching yourself out. And it's, like I said, it's easier to just sit down and practice that stuff than it is to convince yourself to get up and not do it, because you're going to spend a good 10-15 minutes trying to convince yourself not to do it, and then justifying yourself, giving yourself a justified reason of why you're not doing it, you know, and that's just how it goes, and that's it. So please take this seriously. You can make a lot of money. I'll give you some ideas right now. If you, like I said, if you do the subtraction and what is it called? The addition, the multiplication. You put those on CDs or you put them on podcasts, sell them for $5. Put them up there. You never know who is going to buy it, because there are a lot of people who will buy it, who's overseas, and they'll buy that stuff because they want to teach their kids English. You can talk about algebra, decimals, all of those things. You can even sit down and it's funny. It's really funny. You get a dictionary and you can start with the A's, and you can talk for about 5 minutes. Don't make it longer than 10 minutes, and you can say aardvark, like if the first word is aardvark, okay, or just A. You say A. A is the first letter in the alphabet. A is an article, and it's used with nouns, with countable nouns that do not have a vowel sound, a vowel beginning sound. Initial sound is in vowel. It's not a vowel. And is used with nouns whose initial sound is a vowel. And then you can give an example. Dog. Dog is countable. A dog. Then you can say egg. Egg is countable. An egg. An egg. And then you can explain why. Okay, an, egg, whatever. That's right there. I'm telling you how to make some money. And then you read the next word, whatever it is, aardvark. Then you say, aardvark love to eat ants. Then you get to another one, like art. I like to look at art. And you say these simple sentences. You put them on podcasts, and people, they'll listen to it because they'll look at the word. They'll figure out, you can read the description. All I'm doing is read a dictionary. And I'm making a sentence. So get a dictionary, follow along with it, and practice your English. And you can do that. You make a lot of money. Not only can you do that and make a lot of money overseas, or even in this, you're going to make it in the States. You can help these kids that are in school. You can do this. It's going to challenge these teachers to do even better. Okay? When you study, and there's another thing I want to talk about too when you study, is that a lot of kids, they become restless. And that's all it is. They call it this attention deficit, and they give you drugs just to calm you down. But when they calm you down, your mind can't function, because your mind it affects your mind also. So what it is you got to either take breaks, or you have to speed up the learning so these kids can keep up with you. And that's it. I found I can teach children, Japanese kids, to speak English. Well, basically, if they pay attention. So I could say maybe from the kids that want to pay attention, if they're really in the 2nd or 3rd grade and they really pay attention, I can teach them to be almost pretty much say whatever they want to say in English in 3 months. Okay, but I'm usually trying to start with the 5th and 6th graders because they're older, and no more than 3 months. The one kid, I gave a special 6 classes. 6 classes, he was like, oh my God, this crap is easy. I taught my son, he's like, oh my God, I thought English was difficult. It's very easy. So you can do these things, and a lot of people understand that they need to learn English, and you can help them. Not only will you help your brothers and people in your gangs and stuff to get smarter and stuff, but you can take that education that you learn, and as you learn it or as you understand it, you can turn it into a product to sell. And trust me, just like white kids are eating up rap music, like some older white people, they talking black. Well, I wouldn't say my age, but a little younger, 10 years younger, they talking black, thinking that white people always spoke like that. Like, no, that's not. Oh, it's in our language. Well, okay, then you would know they grew up in hip hop, and they have absolutely no idea that when I was young, white people could not call a black person bro. White kids did not run around, especially Mexican kids, white kids did not run around calling themselves niggas. That was a no. That was something that was not happening. No. But now it's happening. So you make those things, and you can make them. You sell them. You got a market. You got all these poor white kids out here, all these immigrants in the States, and stuff like that. You can make money. You can become billionaires. Don't give it to these companies to distribute for you. You distribute it. You find it out. You learn, and you distribute that stuff yourself. All you got to do is make connections with people. Don't trust. You don't. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you guys heard this, because I don't know if I can remember all this again, but you don't trust anyone. There's trust in business is not necessary. They have legal documents, and you get protected. You get legal documents, and you just get them signed. Just pay a lawyer, get it signed, go into business with someone else, and if they renege or whatever, you buy them out, or they'll buy you out, or whatever. But it doesn't matter, because you can still do your own thing, and you can still make money. Until the population actually becomes zero, you're going to make money. So please do this. Now, I know you might start off like, well, what do I need to study for? The whole thing is, the purpose of studying, or I should say practicing and learning things, is only to get to know who you are. When you study or practice and learning, all you're doing is to understand who you are. And that's it. That's the only purpose, to understand who you are. And once you understand who you are, what you're capable of doing, and all of this stuff, then you're going to start doing things. Because I'm sure you guys just don't want to sit around your neighborhood sitting on the porch smoking a joint, when you can be out in the ocean, or out on the moon, or out on Mars, building pyramids. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. And you're going to, and I'm not saying weed is bad or anything like that, but I'm just saying, once you understand things and you're able to develop and stuff like that, you're going to be more productive, because the more productive you are, the more you're going to learn, and your mind needs to learn and more, and do more, and do more, and do more, and learn more, and get bigger and bigger and bigger, until we vibrate to the next dimension, or whatever, whatever all these things, that everybody's saying, but still you can develop. And remember one thing, we're not stuck on this earth. You can leave the earth. You can build spacecrafts to leave this earth and go and travel. There's so many things. You have to understand that the education that we have now, the developments, this stuff is it's new. It's I wouldn't say that it's new as far as maybe it wasn't done by some other space alien craft people, whoever out in the space. But I'm saying for us, once Egypt and a lot of other black nations were destroyed, a lot of the education and a lot of the knowledge was lost, and so it had to be whoever took it had to learn it and study it, and it, whatever, and now it's, now things are starting to get back, but just imagine had nothing had been destroyed. Well, if nothing wasn't destroyed, we definitely wouldn't be here. So that's one thing. But what I'm saying is, it really is easy, and what you have to do is, before you make any decisions, if you make a decision where you have a lot of emotions and concerning that decision, then don't move off your emotions, move off of your intellect, okay? Unless you're being attacked or something like that, then of course your instincts are going to come in, because your body does understand a lot of things, and your body, for the most part, it operates involuntarily. In other words, you have no control over it. We got this machine that you really do have limited access to what you can do with it, you know, and that's it. It really is limited. You know, you can sit, you know, but you don't control the blood, you know, the diseases, the curing of the diseases and everything. You know, your body says feed me, you just put it in your mouth, chop it into small pieces, you know, open up a valve, it goes down, and that's it. You finish. You know, the body does the rest, you know, and don't need you. So don't think you're super tough and it's my body. No, it's just, basically a maintenance. You know, you're here to maintain the body, and you got to get this information and stuff so that you can use the body to create other things. I want to tell you, brothers out there, that you are very smart, very intelligent. I went back to LA and I was walking around, you know, I just saw brothers and I was really amazed. I was like, wow, you know, black people are really beautiful, you know. And with that historian, I forgot his name, is Herodotus or something like that, he even wrote that black people are the most beautiful and most peaceful people in the world, you know. And what happened was, you know, Europeans, I guess, they were had their bad attitudes and tempers and their habits, and they came and switched it. They learned how to be good and taught us how to be bad, you know. But please do this studying thing. Turn your gangs into corporations. You know, if you go to school and if you encourage these young men, your young gangbangers, to go to school, they can get 4.0s and 5.0s and whatever, and the government will pay for them to go to school. Then they can get that education. Then they can come out and then create their own schools and things like that. You're being the CEO, you know, and everything. You can start charging whatever, you know, but don't, you know, remember, the only reason that you are a leader is because you have participants, and at any time, you know, your participants might just stop and you by yourself, and then what you're going to do. So before, and I believe that's what they're doing. Basically, you know, it's this they call it divide and conquer, but it's not. But what it is they're just trying to get people to stop participating with certain people, you know. And it's not even just gangbanging, you know. It's just, you know, they're trying to convince kids to stop participating with the parents, you know, as far as being a part of a family. You know, when you're a kid, you can do what you want, and blah blah blah, and things like that. And but what they don't understand is all that stuff that they put on TV, their kids are being affected too by it, but we're really getting affected and things like that. So it's all about participation, it's all about learning. But learning is very easy, and actually it's not even very easy. I won't even say that. Learning is a natural thing, okay? And all you have to do is just take the initiative not to stop yourself from learning it. And that's all you do. It's just stop trying to stop yourself from learning. There's no such thing as hard. Oh, it's hard. It's not hard. It's just you just don't understand the vocabulary. You don't understand the operations. It's just subtracting and adding. That's all math is. But you have to understand the terminology, and that stuff is very important. I spoke to a friend. I said to him, "Hey, what's the definition of the word multiply?" Because we were talking about math. I just wanted to see if he knew it. You know, I forgot exactly what it was about, but I think it was I just wanted to prove that the reason a lot of people don't like math is just simply because they don't understand the vocabulary. So he was like blah 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 and gave me all these answers, and I was laughing, and I said, well, multiply just means to duplicate or to copy. That's it. He got angry. Oh, why didn't you ask me what the definition of multiply was? And I'm like, well, I asked you, what does multiply mean? So definition and meaning, you know, aren't they synonyms? You know. And then he kind of laughed, you know, and I said, that's the problem, you know, with dealing with people, is because a lot of people, they have a limited vocabulary. So you might say one thing and someone that might agree with you, but because you don't understand it, And instead of you facing the fact that you're ignorant, and ignorant just means you don't know. So basically when you say, somebody say, hey, do you know where the bank is? You're like, I don't know. You basically just saying I'm ignorant. But if somebody call you ignorant, you're calling me ignorant. And then somebody say, oh, you don't know? You're like, oh, you all smart, happy, yeah, I don't know, yeah, I'm an ignorant fool, ha 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 ha, I'm ignorant, basically that's what you're saying. And people are like, okay, these people are crazy, so they kind of stay away from you. So basically, that's what I told them. And I just did that to prove a point that the reason that people don't understand mathematics, or that education is really lacking, is because they just don't understand the vocabulary. And if you don't believe me, ask your friends, what does multiply mean? And I'm telling you, people are going to get to thinking, and they're going to start computing, and they're going to take about 5 minutes. Some people actually said, I got to think about it, let me get back with you. And I just burst into laughter. I'm like, oh my God, no, come on, man, come on. These people got bachelor's degrees. Like, I even asked these guys, hey, can you teach a 5-year-old kid financing, what financing is? And these guys are like, why would I want to teach a 5-year-old kid financing? I can't, but even if I did, why would I want to? Why wouldn't you want to start giving kids education on how to spend money, save money, utilize money at a young age? If these kids can get on a DS and whoop you in a cold second, they can easily understand that all financing is just giving some company some money so that they can build something and then sell it, and then give you some percentage of the profit for helping them. So you tell the kid, hey, what you doing? That I'm going to buy some ice cream. Why you buying ice cream? Because it's good. Hey, why don't you let me teach you about financing. You take that $1 and you give it to the Snickers company, and then they'll make more candies, and then when they sell it, then you see all these kids eating those Snicker bars. Yeah. Well, if you were to give, let's say if you would have gave Snicker Corporation that money, then every piece of candy bar that your friends buy at the end of the year, you're going to get some money back from that candy bar. Now, that's what finance is. Now, if you buy this candy bar and you eat it, how much money are you going to get at the end of the year? And of course, the kid going to say nothing. Then you say, well, what's the purpose of spending the candy bar? Is it what's the purpose of it? If you buy the candy bar, you're just gonna throw your money in trash. The same thing. You might as well just gonna throw your trash in the candy bar and save yourself, an extra 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mile jog. That's what you're doing. You're like, oh, okay, and yeah, you're right. Okay, and once you tell a kid that, of course they're not gonna just automatically start saving the money. But as they get older and they keep remembering that, because they're not going to remember that explanation, and they're going to remember, and they're going to start thinking. And then if you guys are doing an education thing there, and I'm telling you, you're going to change. You're going to change, and what's going to happen is crime is going to decrease rapidly. You start growing your own food. You start selling them, or you feed the people for free. Come on, everybody. There is no reason black people should be poor. There is no reason black people shouldn't have money. There is no reason why black people shouldn't at least eat and have an education. There's no reason. There are more than enough people in the United States that have money that can help. And you're trying to get rich, you're gonna make the money. Don't worry about that. The money's gonna come. But it's not gonna come if you're the only worker. You got to get out there and train other people and educate them and tell them what it's all about, and they'll fall in line. If they don't fall in line, fine, leave them on the wayside. Wait till they have to get a few kicks in the butts before they come back and say, I'm sorry, I understand now, and they just, it's all right, stand in line, bam, and that's it, But there's no reason. And what's going to happen is, another thing that's going to happen too, and I should warn you about this, is that as you start to educate yourself, crime is going to go down. When crime goes down, it's going to affect a lot of police officers and a lot of judges and a lot of other people's wallets. Okay, and especially if they are very, very poor in financing, and budgeting and stuff like that, then what's going to happen is they're going to start panicking, and then they'll probably end up making laws more and more and more strict, stringent, or whatever it's called, and then like, oh man, this and that and this and that, and so that may happen. But another thing too is a lot of these black communities are being taken over by a lot of immigrants coming into the country, and I don't like to use the word immigrants, but other people moving into the country. And these people, they have resources. Asia, Indonesia, Mexico, they are all manufacturing countries. So you can get a shirt from China. Well, I don't know how much now, but maybe like a t-shirt, plain t-shirt for with something printed on it for 25 cents. Okay. If you gotta order 100, a bulk 100, or let's say 500, times 25, and that's 1/5 of 25, bam, $150 or something like that. My math might be off, but whatever, let me know. And let's say it is like you get 500 shirts for $125. Well, you take those 500 shirts, and you sell them each $10 or $14 or 3 for $25 or whatever. You're gonna make your money right back. Okay, yeah, you're gonna make your money right back. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I'm tired, so. But the last time I talked to my friends, we didn't do it. But let's say like you get 100 shirts and you pay like $10 for 100 shirts, 10 cents a shirt or something like that, and because you ordered bulk, and they really easy, $100, you sell a few shirts, you get your profit. Everything else is just what is it, profit, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna make a lot of money. So, but in those other countries, they are manufacturing companies, and it's really the low cost of production. But a lot of people, we don't have money, but you do have a lot of money. They said that every year black women spend about $4 billion in Korean stores for hair products. $4 billion a year. $4 billion a year. That is more than enough money to send probably every black child who graduates through a university, and the top universities, if they can get in them. $4 billion. They didn't find this out until like 4 years, after they were doing, I guess they were doing a study or something like that. $16 billion into the Korean economy. That money you keep. You can use that money. But they got us, mass media got us stuck on stupid, got you thinking you stupid, and the whole thing is, like I said, learning is natural. You'll naturally learn. All somebody got to do is sit down and explain it to you. Like I explained to this kid why he was, oh man, this is like taking so long. I just went to some random yakitori grilled chicken place, and I sat down, and some kid was like 15 years old, and some lady, his mother was there, and some guy was there, and I guess they all knew each other, and I was sitting between them because there was an empty spot, so I just sat there, and they was talking and stuff. Eventually, they started talking to me, and I asked the kid why he's drinking, because he's only 15. Should have slapped the owner, right? But in Japan, I guess they don't enforce the rules or whatever. But the guy, he was like 40-some years younger than I was. Younger than I am, but he looked older. And he said, oh, he's a bad kid, and he doesn't like to study and stuff. And I looked at the guy, and I'm like, well, maybe the kid doesn't know what studying means. And he's like, oh, everybody knows what studying. I'm like, all right, fine, tell me what the word studying means. And he couldn't give me a definition. And so I told the kid, why don't you study? He said he don't understand. So basically I said, do you like math? He said he hates math. Everyone there said, oh, I don't like math. And I'm like, the reason you don't like math, because of the vocabulary. So I wrote down 3 centimeters. Well, basically I'll just say it so everyone can understand. Well, 3 centimeters times 5 centimeters equals to 15 centimeters square. And I asked the kid, do you know why? He said no. I asked his mother. She said no. I asked the guy. He said no. So I explained it to him. Basically, all it is you got this rectangle that has two sides of 3 centimeters, two sides of 5 centimeters. You where the 3 centimeter side is nothing but 3 1-inch centimeters connected together. The 5 centimeter side is 5 1-inch centimeter lines connected together. If you draw the lines, the horizontal and vertical lines, you're going to have 15 squares, and that's where the 15 comes from. 3 times 15, you got the 15 squares. Okay, you got 3 layers of 5 squares, and how many together? Just 15. Then I said the answer is the real answer is 15 times centimeters, but centimeters too long. So someone says, okay, they made a new abbreviation where they put the 2 up in the square, and it means centimeter square, and the square just means duplicate this centimeter twice and multiply them together, and that's it. And when I explained it to them, I had to use paper and everything so they could see the visual, because actually math is a visual. That's why I say everything you see, math is everything you see just written on paper. So you can, you guys talking about calling women bitches and whatever, if you get out there and get your math done, you like, look at that girl with that x to the square plus minus 3 with the tangent 30 degrees, 45 degree, blah, 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 and you just mathematically describe it her butt, and people can do that. There are people, a whole bunch of people that can mathematically describe everything, and it's like, it's a language. You're like, oh my God, just imagine the pressure, as you enter the ring and blah, 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 and you're talking about sex, how, tight she might, what was, anyway, so you're just talking about the pressure of the insides of her body and stuff like that, or, the resistance of her, body, or maybe girls talking about the guys like, oh my God, look at his chest, and I wonder how, what's the resistance, I'll get, from this and that and that and that, and you can do that, you know what I'm saying? So basically, I just told the kid got sober real quick. His mother almost started crying. She said, oh my God, that's all it is. I said, that's all it is. You just gotta, if you don't understand a word, just get a dictionary and look it up, and it'll explain it, and you just have to remember the word, and that's it. And he was like, oh my God, I'm going to try it. His mother said, yeah, I'm going to try it. And the guy, the Japanese guy, he was changed. See, all of a sudden he just changed. Like, yeah, see, that's, and I got in this case, pretty much. Disciplined him, because I'm older than him. And I disciplined him saying, why would a black man born in Michigan, live most of his life in Los Angeles, have to come all the way to Japan just to teach a Japanese kid who's drinking beer and who does not like school something simple like this, when you, as a Japanese man, who in America we have this image that all Asians are smart and 95% of Japan is literate, and the guy was rich, and why couldn't you do this instead of doing what you did? That's not good. Actually I wanted to, but I was like, cool, and he apologized, and so I ate real fast because I was a little agitated, and I left, But you brothers out there, you gangbangers, start this, and you show this video. It's long, I know it's long. You show this video to your members, and you guys should start slowly. And once you start doing it, it's just like drinking a 40. When you first drink it, you spit it out, and you forced yourself to like it, and then you just got used to it. Well, math, not only is math something you don't have to force yourself to do. All you gotta do is just look, draw pictures. That's all math is. It's just pictures. It's talking about pictures and shapes, and that's it. And you start looking at the pictures and start understanding, oh my God, my God, oh, this is cool. Next thing you know, you end up fixing your own car, driving, making your own car, Duncan's Mobile or whatever, GSD50, JPN, some car that'll, dust the Bugatti, you know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that it's really easy. Well, I wouldn't even say it's easy, because I don't even like using that word easy, because those are like the adverbs. Most of them, they're just emotionally triggered words. So basically, learning is natural. That's what you were. That's what you are. You are a learning vehicle. You are built, equipped with everything you need to do whatever you have to do to learn this stuff. And it's just simple. You understand what the number one is, and everything else is just a duplicate of it, and that's it. And then you just gotta, as you start expanding and putting all the simple things and making it complex, then you gotta, make it into one unified simple thing, and then you build those simple things until it gets complex, and you make it into a simple unit, and then you do it again and do it again, and basically that's it. So anyway, I'm going to quit. Please, I hope a lot of you take the time to do it, even if you don't want to stop banging or whatever. At least do it to make the money. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get one CD out there talking about 0 plus 0 equals to 1 in English, and you do it all the way up to the 12s, and you put on the podcast, and people overseas are going to buy it just for the mere fact that they want to hear, they want to learn English. You sell a few thousand, a few millions of them, you're gonna make some money, and it's not. And this is the last thing I want to say. People are motivated by many things. Right now, the biggest motivating source in the world right now is money. But there's something even a greater motivator than money. It's greater, and you can be anyone. You don't need anything. It's free, or whatever. It's called knowing. If you know you're supposed to do something, just do it. You don't need money. You don't need anything to motivate you. The only motivator, you have a natural motivator. Basically, is what I want to say. You have a natural motivator. The natural motivator that you have is called knowing. If you know, do it. You know it's right, do it. You got to study. You got to practice. You're supposed to do it. Just do it. Get it over with. Because once you start practicing and doing it, of course, it's going to get boring. That's why you got to take breaks and stuff until you get used to it. But instead of reading the book, and then falling asleep and forcing yourself, just, drink a lot of water, get a lot of rest, and if you have a whole classmate, you get your friends, you guys just take turns reading one chapter. If you can't read very well, then, you get someone else who can read well, and you have them read for you, and if you have to pay a fine, or you make a contract, and you just tell them, there are a lot of people out there who love to read, and they'll read that book for you, and I don't, you probably get in trouble, but you know what I want to say next, but you can you can profit from somebody reading that book for you, and you recording it, what they're reading, and you just pop it in your you listen to it. If it's like chapters, you gotta read it. Listening to it is gonna take much less time than reading it yourself. And eventually you're gonna remember it. And the words that you don't know, you just stop, pause, go back, write the word down in your note memo somewhere, and then you go back and look it up, and next thing you know, you're smart. Basically what it is, though, is what's the point of learning? The point of learning is to understand what this earth is so you can develop things and then move on. You know, move off the earth, build a family, whatever you want to do. But there's no reason why everyone shouldn't be able to live in peace. It's very simple, and the only reason that people are committing crimes is because you create this image in your head of something, and then because you release the adrenaline so it gets you all pumped up, and then endorphins come and make you feel good. You take that good feeling as a sign of confirmation, and then you go and do it, and that's what you're doing wrong. So if you want to stop your crimes and things like that, that's all you got to do is just stop creating those images. When you do, and you understand that's what you're doing, a lot of things are going to stop. And then once that starts stopping, then you can say, okay, now what I'm going to do, then, you know, just start studying. You can make money. You know, a lot of people out there making a lot of money. A lot of people out there want to learn, and they will pay you. You know, so please take this in consideration. Talk to your friends about it, and all this philosophizing and stuff, stop. It's just gossip, and then all it is doing, all it's designed to do is keep you preoccupied with things that makes absolutely no sense right now. You know, if you want to philosophize and, you know, wait till you make $1 billion contract and go to some bar or whatever and drink some red wine, but you only probably need like one glass or half a glass and get you drunk, and then start, you know, babbling off about whatever, you know, and if that's what, you know, makes you happy. You know, if it was me, I'd rather just go and chill with my female friends and, you know, chill in a nice hotel that I own in the penthouse, you know, that I'm paying. Of course, you know, I gotta pay the rent and everything because I'm, you know, I still got to pimp myself. You know, keep my, you know, you're talking about being a pimp, but, you know, the person that you got to pimp the hardest is yourself. And I'm sitting there in my beach clothes and got my friends, and they all fine, black women, whoever, don't matter, you know, and they all beautiful and educated, all of us billionaires, you know, and you're just talking and drinking, you know, juice and stuff like that, and they wearing their bikinis, you know, just listening to some kid who just, you know, read a book, you know, about whatever, you know, the Moors in Spain, and he's reading it for his friends, and we're just like, wow, you know, listen to his voice, and wow, he can read very well, and he's very articulate, you know, you know, and talking about different things like that. Or, you know, we can be dancing too. It's okay with music. Music's fine too, whatever, but, you know, I'm tripping, I'm out. Peace.